Steppin Out is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
With a continued passion for public television, we are proud to underwrite Steppin Out.
Please join us in supporting WYES television.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. The American Italian Cultural Center and Museum on South Peters in New Orleans offers event venue space, Italian language classes, dual citizenship and translation services, seminars, genealogy, and trips to Italy. Ciao! AmericanItalianCulturalCenter.com. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area.
I'm Peggy Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Howdy, Poppy.
Hey.
Gwen Thompkins, she's back, author and radio host for Music Inside Out on WWNO. Great to see you. Hello. Alan Smason in, look at his seersucker, yes indeed. And he is the editor of the Crescent City Jewish News and theatercriticism.com. Hello. And a little later, we're going to visit with Tony Award winner Michael Cerveris, who'll perform with his band Loose Cattle. Poppy, first weekend of the Jazz Fest. You've got scoop.
Well, I'm not dressed for the fest today, so I'm not coming from there as I normally do. But do I have the scoop on new dishes, new vendors, and booth locations? Because, you know, I guess Vance told you last week that he has a new location, Vance Vaucresson. Well, this year, the Cultural Exchange Program is back, and it's Puerto Rico. And so one of the things I wanted to point out is that Dana Hahn of Carmo still has his own booth, but he's partnering with a gentleman named Ozzy Mendoza Diaz, who has a pop-up business called Foul Mouth, okay? Note the spelling, please. And so they are going to be serving the Cuban food from a booth together at the festival. And, you know, you keep hearing about, oh, so-and-so's not coming. Well, let's talk about the good news. The return of Palmer's Jamaican food at Congo Square. We love Palmer's food. And there's no raw oysters at the grandstand as usual, but there will be some cold seafood dishes. There's a cold crawfish salad roll, and there's a new shrimp pasta dish. There's a new dessert vendor at Congo. I can't wait to go visit because I want that mixed nut brittle. Doesn't that sound good? And then over at Heritage Square, you're going to be able to get strawberry cheesecake, a lemon layer cake, and a pecan rum cake. That's all new stuff. Now, at Food Heritage 1, we've got a turducken poor boy. You can also get a healthy sunflower green salad. And then, remember my favorite last year. It's a vendor named Brocado, but it's not Angelo. And their dish that I loved was that eggplant brocado. If you didn't have it last year, have it this year. They're adding to their selection barbecued oysters and buffalo oysters. Now, are you mourning Fatty's Cracklin's absence? Well, where have you been? Not in New Orleans. Go to Toop's Meadery on North Carrollton Avenue. 7 days a week, virtually 365 days. There are the best cracklins I've ever tasted in my life. No kidding. Go get them. Hot and fresh, they cook them for you. And for a new twist on crawfish bread everybody's complaining about, go to the Bakery Bar for Chef Lydia Solano's version, which combines that elote corn with creamy crawfish dip on New Orleans French bread. And oh, by the way, you can celebrate Cinco de Mayo there with a taco trio and $8 spicy margaritas. Now, Last of all, not a jazz fester, don't care a thing about what I just said? Well, you royalty lovers convene, because there's going to be a gathering from 6 until 9:30 a.m. for a coronation watch party at the Polo Club at the Windsor Court, the day that the king gets crowned. So there you go.
All right, thank you so much. And speaking of Jazz Fest, of course, Gwen, you've got your highlights.
It's true. It's the most wonderful time of the year. But the thing is, I have all my papers, and I also have all my cubes up, because I want to tell you about so much that's happening. Now, Friday is going to be a heck of a day. I think it's probably the best day of the festival. So many people are coming. Robert Plant will be there, Alison Krauss, Nicholas Payton, Lizzo, Big Frida, all the greats. But I have a couple of recommendations that are not those people. And they are Baseku Kuyate and Ngoni Ba of Mali. These are wonderful artists who are going to be at the Jazz and Heritage stage from 4:40 to 5:40. Obviously from Mali. Cultural exchange happens at Jazz Fest all the time. This year it is Puerto Rico, just as Poppy was saying, but you know, the festival has always done a good job of trying to expand its reach to sort of show the connection between New Orleans and the rest of the world. And Mali is a fantastic example. Taj Mahal, for example, my heart, Taj Mahal, he has performed and recorded with Baseku Kuyate many times, and in fact he'll be at the festival on Saturday. Also on Friday, it's going to be a tough choice. At the end of the day, Wu-Tang Clan with the Soul Rebels. That's my choice, actually. I'm going to be there at Congo Square stage. That's going to be from 5:40 until 6:55. This is a show that the festival has been trying to put together for the past 3 years, actually. The Wu-Tang Clan is a hip-hop group, obviously, from 1992. That's where they began. And all this time, I've never seen them. I really want to. And when you combine them with the Soul Rebels from New Orleans, an actual trumpet section, this is going to be fantastic. But then I'm going to scoot as quickly as I can over to see Mavis Staples, who always shows up for New Orleans, and so I think it's a good time to show up for Mavis Staples. She's only going to be performing for an hour, actually. Most of the other shows, the last shows of the day, they linger a bit longer, but she's going to be from 6 until 7 o'clock. So that's Mavis Staples. On Saturday, which is my second favorite day of the weekend, I'm going to recommend the Cooley Family Gospel Singers. Now, I had no picture for them, but I have heard them sing, and their harmonies are extraordinary. And so if you're interested in listening to gospel music, if you wanted to start off your day with it, and you want to hear some beautiful harmonies, then try the Gospel Tent, presented by Morris Bart at 11:15, and they're going to be playing from 11:15 to 11:55. Also, as part of Cultural Exchange, will be Angel Papote Alvarado y El Grupo Esencia. I do not speak Spanish, but I hope I didn't ruin it. But it's a fantastic band, and they're going to be at the Cultural Exchange Pavilion, which is celebrating Puerto Rico, from 1:45 until 2:45 on Saturday. And then lastly, it's going to be the great connection to Louis Armstrong, and this is Catherine Russell, a fantastic singer who oftentimes performs with jazz at Lincoln Center in New York. Her father, Louis Roussel, was Panamanian, and he actually was Louis Armstrong's band leader during the 1930s when Armstrong had a big band. In fact, he gave his band to Armstrong, which is pretty fascinating. And Catherine Russell is a terrific performer and dancer, and she's going to be at Economy Hall from 4:20 until 5:40. Then on Sunday, continuing with Cultural Exchange, from Puerto Rico, there'll be the Conjunto Típico Samaritano. I hope I did not ruin that. Performance, and that's going to be from 1:55 until 2:55. And then we're going to move into a part of the day that I am really looking forward to, which will be the Jordan family tribute to Kid Jordan. As we all know, Kid Jordan passed away a couple of weeks ago, and his children, who are phenomenal musicians, Stephanie, Rachel, Marlon, and Kent, will be at the WWOZ Jazz Tent, and they're going to be performing from 2:45 until 3:45. 3:45. So, sorry, Jazz Stage from 2:45 until 3:45. And then, of course, there's at the end of the day, the Tedeschi Trucks Band. This is one of my favorite bands, actually, because it is a super band, actually, between blues stars Susan Tedeschi and, of course, Derek Trucks. Trucks being one of the most amazing guitarists that you'll ever know in popular music today, and Tedeschi, who has one of the great blues voices. And they're going to be at the festival stage on Sunday from 5:15 until 7 o'clock, unless we can persuade them to be there longer.
Thank you. And NOJazzFest.com for all the details. And I wanted to show you the Jazz Fest program. And I know folks are used to getting it on site, but you can also get it at some other places, including Barnes & Noble, Peaches Records, Bricato's, yes, Bricato's on Carrollton, All That Jazz on Decatur, and the Louisiana Music Factory. So very good. Thank you so much, Gwen.
Thank you.
Michael Cerveris, actor Michael Cerveris, is comfortable both on Broadway and on stage with his American country band, Loose Cattle. They are making their Jazz Fest debut this year. Earlier today, they came by for a visit. It is so nice to talk to a fervent Orleanian who is also on the Broadway stage a lot too, but he's here with his band Loose Cattle. Welcome, Michael Cerveris.
Thanks so much.
And tell us about your upcoming gigs.
Well, we've got the big one is Jazz Fest. We're playing on Locals Thursday at 4:20 on the Lanyap stage. We're also playing a special private garden party on the 1st, and people can email us at loosecattle@gmail.com for tickets to that. And then Kimberly and I will be doing a little acoustic evening at Buffa's on the 5th.
That's great. Yeah. Now, you're not playing, so this will be a bit of a tease, you're not playing the song that you just recorded that's now available on all platforms.
That's right.
Crescent City was just with Lucinda Williams, huh?
Yes, exactly.
So you'll have to go online and hear that, okay? But we're so thrilled you're here. Why don't you introduce the band, and you're going to play for us.
Sure. This is Rurik Noonan on fiddle.
Woohoo.
And Renee Coman on bass. And Doug Garrison on drums. Doug and Renee are from the Iguanas, and Rurik is from just about every other band in New Orleans
and usually Kimberly Kay is with you.
And usually Kimberly Kay is with us.
But you'll certainly see her at the Jazz Fest.
Absolutely.
Before we go to your song, though, The Gilded Age, HBO, you have a really prime part in that. In when is it going to debut?
The second season will come, I believe, in September, and you'll get a lot of answers to the mystery of Mr. Watson.
All right. Well, tell us about the song you're going to play for us.
Well, I think people in New Orleans know that some of the best fried chicken in town usually comes from corner gas stations, and that's certainly true in my neighborhood in the Treme. But when you're walking your dog through the streets of the Treme, she sort of thinks it's a smorgasbord of sidewalk chicken. So that's what the song is inspired by.
And for more details, loosecattleband.com?
Yes, loosecattleband.com, and Instagram at loosecattleband, and you may find just actual films of loose cattle if you just put Loose Cattle in. So Loose Cattle Band is
great. You do have a really good website too. You get more than a taste there. Well, I will step out of the way and let you begin. Thank you all. Okay.
Thank you. My dog, she's a hungry girl, best damn dog in the whole damn world. Go walking in the neighborhood, get to the corner and it's understood. Nose to the ground, cause you know she'll find something tasty being left behind. It's that sidewalk chicken.
Sidewalk chicken.
Sidewalk chicken.
Sidewalk chicken.
Cold and sickening. Sidewalk chicken. You know it's greasy, you know it's no good. Know when you're done, well, it's understood. It's sidewalk chicken. Oh, yeah. I know a girl from around the way. Take what she wants and leave the rest away. Don't bother to apologize. You give her love, she try it on for size. So sad, sorry to say, I knew that girl from around the way. She liked the sidewalk chicken.
Sidewalk chicken.
Sidewalk chicken.
Sidewalk chicken.
Time bomb ticking. The sidewalk chicken. You know it's greasy, you know it's no good. Know when the it's done, well, it's understood. This sidewalk chicken. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get up, you gotta get in line. Gotta get your body that daily grind. Government feeding you lies and fear. And Jesus hanging from the rearview mirror. So many people being left behind. Hunting for scraps like that dog of mine. She likes the sidewalk chicken.
Sidewalk chicken.
Ooh, sidewalk chicken.
Sidewalk chicken.
Finger licking. Sidewalk chicken. You know it's greasy, you know it's no good. Know when you're done, well, it's understood. That sidewalk chicken.
Sidewalk chicken.
Oh, sidewalk chicken.
Sidewalk chicken.
Cotton bomb chicken. Sidewalk chicken. A rich man wants everything you own. He'll take the meat and give you the bone. And sidewalk chicken. Oh, eat up, eat up, eat up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Woohoo! Country Americana, baby. So versatile, so very versatile. We appreciate them coming by. Alan.
All right. Well, Lance E. Nichols has played many, many roles in his stellar TV and film career. But I would say that the opportunity to emulate the playwright August Wilson and the autobiographical work, How I Learned What I Learned, maybe his most rewarding and meaningful stage effort to date. Wilson, of course, co-conceived and co-developed this memoir play with his fellow playwright Todd Kryler, who directed its premiere back in 2003 in Seattle at the Seattle Rep. It starred Wilson in his only solo outing as an actor, but it's told with eloquence in the language of the street. The story is firmly centered about Wilson and his life up to that juncture, which was quite remarkable, having completed at that time 7 Broadway openings, also 2 Pulitzer Prizes. He was already considered one of America's greatest black playwrights, and of course, indeed, one of America's greatest playwrights as well. But with How I Learned What I Learned, Wilson's still very healthy in his life, and he takes the work to reflect back on his life growing up in Pittsburgh Hill District as Freddie Kittle Jr. That was his original name. The 90-minute play utilizes projections with typewriter sound effects that spell out various topics and names that are significant people in his life that have had an impact on him. What's important to learn from this particular play, though, is that these personal interactions, the aggressions and the discriminatory behavior, the interactions, they all are included in August Wilson's plays. They all found life in the characters and the cycle of plays. And I have to say that he emotes, that is Lance, emotes as Wilson, speaking directly to the point that he is very good Spates, despite all of what he went through. And Nichols holds the rapt attention of the audience, I have to say, throughout the play, sometimes singing, sometimes he gets angry, sometimes he's humorous.
Very funny.
And he recounts early attempts at finding love. He even spends a little time with the audience in jail. Directed by Jade King Carroll, this is an impressive work by a great actor recalling a talented and tormented genius. Kudos there to Don Scott Cooper on the left of Le Petit and Lance Nichols for this sterling performance that will give audiences a closer look at Austin Wilson than they've probably ever seen before. And I want to remind everybody that there's a possibility that I may have an interview with Jade King Carroll on my show coming up on Monday night, so let's see what happens on that. Meanwhile, tomorrow is the opening for Defiance of Dandelions. It's the third of the series of plays at the We Will Dream Festival of New Plays. This play is by Baton Rouge playwright Philana Umade Omaratunwa. And again, she is going to be doing this in the area that would have been the bar, the sanctuary bar before they actually opened it up. That's where it's going to be performed. So it won't be in the normal performing space.
St. Rose de Lima.
At St. Rose de Lima, which used to be Southern Rep, of course. And I'll have a review of that for next week. Now, Fat Squirrel. We all know Fat Squirrel because they had their first season this past year. They have made an announcement for season number 2, and let me tell you what's going on with them. All their shows are going to premiere, guess where, Peggy? In your old haunt.
Yay!
That's the Ty Tracy Nord Theater at Gallier Hall. And also, for those of you who are interested in helping them out, they now have the capacity to receive tax-deductible gifts through what is called a voucher program. So they're going to start off with Something Like, which is a sing-along show. And this is going to be, again, at the Ty Tracy Nord Theater. They're going to do this on 3 different dates, May the 30th, then the end of August, and then also at the end of November. And so that's going to start things off. Then, Paula Vogel, who you may remember wrote How I Learned to Drive and recently received several plaudits for Indecent, she wrote this piece called The Baltimore Waltz, and they're going to present that. That's their first true play. That's going to be in June. And again, you'll see this at Ty Tracy's Nord Theater. Then next up, William Shakespeare will be presented in a manner never before known to man or beast, with star-crossed A Midsummer Nightmare. And apparently the characters like Julius Caesar, Romeo and Juliet, Othello will all interact with one another. I can't wait for that. A more serious piece by Stephanie Garrison on environmental damage is slated for October. This is called Broken Codes. And again, we'll see that in October. And finally, my favorite Christmas film of all time, Die Hard, has been transformed into a play. It's titled A Very Die Hard Christmas, and I can't wait to see this one. And who will play Hans Gruber? Yippee Taiwan on you. Oh, sorry about that. But
Okay. Thank you so much. And now time for our picks of the week. Poppy.
It's coming back again. Food Fight NOLA, Thursday, May 25th from 6 until 10 p.m. It's the second iteration. It's at Spanish Plaza this year, and it's a fantastic event. Tons of restaurants, tons of drinks. It's fun.
Gwen.
Well, I'm going to go back to the festival, the Jazz Festival, at the Allison Minor Music Heritage Stage. This is going to be, it's going to be, I believe, is it on Friday, I believe?
Okay. No, it's on
Sunday.
Sunday.
It's on Sunday.
Yes,
Sorry about
Sidney
that.
Bechet.
At 1 o'clock. It's going to be a conversation about the legacy of Sidney Bechet, as you well know, with Donald Harrison Jr., Dr. Michael White, and Aurora Nealand. The interviewer is going to be Bruce Rayburn, who moved away from New Orleans sometime ago and to Spokane, where he's very happy, and but is coming back actually for Jazz Festival. So this is wonderful to see Bruce Rayburn, who used to be over at the at the Hogan Jazz Archive. Okay. And what's so wonderful, the last thing I'm going to say is that it's wonderful that Aurora Nealand is in this conversation, because she's a fantastic saxophonist, and she did an entire evening at Preservation Hall dedicated to Sidney Bechet, and she quotes Mahler when she did it, and she says, tradition is not the worship of ashes, but the celebration of fire.
Woo! Thank you. Alan.
let's not forget that SpongeBob SquarePants is coming to Rivertown soon. We'll talk about that later. But it's not too early to check out the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra, and they're going to have the music of Queen. Yes, Freddie Mercury, and it's all going to be done and conducted by Brent Havens. I really suggest everybody get out there. These are big events. Everybody can drink inside. It's a wonderful time, head by all, and I'll see you at the theater.
Okay, now my picks. In honor of Jazz Fest, WYES is presenting a marathon of local music shows on Saturday starting at 3 p.m. We'll kick off the day with their own documentary on Louis Armstrong's years in New Orleans. Next, Jazz Funerals from the Inside, followed by Amanda Shaw, Fats Domino, Irma Thomas at 8 p.m., and then Samantha Fish, Deacon John, and Alan Toussaint. Woo-hoo! On Tuesday, please consider supporting WYES and Give NOLA Day. We're having a Give NOLA Day happy hour from 4 to 6 at WYES. Tours of the station and giveaways. Give at givenola.org. Mark Stone kicks off 2 of 3 concerts coming up at the Van Gogh New Orleans Immersive Experience. Sunday night, Mark and John Mooney and Bluesiana on the list. Then Tuesday, featuring Big Sam's Funky Nation, to name just one of many headliners, all at the Scottish Rite Temple on Carondelet Street. The concert is within the large room of the immersive exhibit. Go to feverup.com and click on New Orleans to see that. Wow. At the Jazz Fest on Sunday, check out Jeanette, good old Jeanette Downing and Scott Billington playing. There's so much fun at the kids tent. And then at 3 o'clock at the Allison Minor stage, Music Heritage stage, I'll be interviewing blues singer, guitarist Little Freddie King and his drummer manager Wacko Wade. Also at Jazz Fest this weekend, jewelry designer Patrice McMurray at the Louisiana Marketplace, 10th this year, and her husband, guitarist John Rankin at the Lanyap stage on Sunday at 1:40 with Cranston Clements and Jimmy Robinson. Now we leave you with more of Loose Cattle. The song is called Cheneyville. Thanks for watching. Good night.
She was her mama's pride, her daddy's pearl. Home was all she wanted in this world. Till that junior high school quarterback from Bunkie. He paddled down a dappled summer stream. He held her in a borrowed southern dream. She never thought they'd leave for love nor money. But she's never going back to Cheneyville. She's never going back to Cheneyville. Oh, she'll never say I never, but she will. Oh, she's never going back to Cheneyville. He had dreams much bigger than that town. Oh, she gave up hers to follow him around. Gave him all she knew to heart and soul. Wasn't he was bad so much as lost, burning all the bridges that they crossed, till day by night his...
Steppin Out is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
With a continued passion for public television, we are proud to underwrite Steppin Out.
Please join us in supporting WYES television.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. The American Italian Cultural Center and Museum on South Peters in New Orleans offers event venue space, Italian language classes, dual citizenship and translation services, seminars, genealogy, and trips to Italy. Ciao! AmericanItalianCulturalCenter.com. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area.